Coach, let's talk about your scrimmage. We had two scrimmages. You started off against a very talented Graham football team.
Yeah, not lumping both into one, but two scrimmages, two really good opponents. First one being Graham. Graham's a team that was in the 3A state semifinals last year, returning the bulk of their crew. That they're top 5, top 8 team in the state. And really think in the last 4 years they've been in the semis and the finals in 3A with a chance to win it once. I mean, really, when I say chance, down to the last play of the game, actually, chance to win it. And so they think this is by far the best team they've had. So really good team we stepped on the field with. But we did some good stuff. We didn't get the ball in the end zone. Moved it well at times. Let's go ahead and say that. But just couldn't quite find a way to punch it in. I think the biggest thing we can take away from that offensively is we handled them up front. We did a good job with our line and our blocking up front. And from the skill perspective, we've got to be quicker and a little more efficient on hitting the hole, hitting the gap, catching the ball here or there, and especially against those good teams. And that's where we were at. On the other side of the ball, just like as we said, offensively, defensively, we did a good job handling them up front with their running game. They had one little wrinkle in there that we hadn't practiced or hadn't talked about yet that was difficult for us, that allowed them to get a few runs and hit us over the top with the pass or two. So, but they're a quality opponent, and it was good to get out there and get started with them in comparison. Let us know where we are.
Coach, also Anson, they won big last night against Hamilton.
Yeah, Anson, as I kind of alluded to start out, Anson's a very quality opponent. Just kind of on the other end, as far as the size-wise for us, they're a big 1A that is coming off, I think, a 10-2 season where they lost to Stanford, the state champs, and they lost in the second round to Stratford, who lost out to Stanford. So once again, quality opponent with everybody on their team back. I don't know if they had more than literally 2 or 3 seniors. So most people got them picked to win district or second behind Stanford. They're a top 10 team nonetheless. Very, very good offensively. We gave up a few touchdowns to them. Just made a bad play on one. And then on a couple, we gave up 2 that we had on 3rd or 4th and 6 plus and covered them initially and then kind of slowed down and quit the running to the ball as we needed to. And quarterback scrambled, which, first of all, I think we've got to give credit to him. He's a good player. On the offensive side of the ball, I was really pleased with what we did. We did I think we had 8 possessions and we scored 6 of them. And then those 2 that we didn't score, one time ran out, and then one was kind of at the very end of the scrimmage. We didn't convert on a 3rd and 1. Josh made a bad read and probably should have given the ball instead of trying to keep it, and so those are correctable mistakes, and we felt good about it offensively.
Let's talk a little bit about your coaching staff. Who you have back who are new to the staff this year?
Coaching staff-wise, for the first time in a couple of years, we've had a little bit of turnover, but really little is operative word there. Coach Phelps retired and rode off into the old man world where he can go hunt and ride motorcycles and those kinds of things. So obviously he's going to be missed. We loved having him, and we're going to miss him with all the stuff that he did for us. But we added Ross Johnson to replace him. Coach Johnson comes from us from Midland Greenwood. In the month that he's been here, he's done a super job. We really liked having him. And the other one we added was Ryan McNeely. Coach McNeely's from San Saba, familiar with the area. He spent his first, I can't remember, 5 or 6 years at Wimberley. Super good guy. Does a great job. The greatest part I think about is him was when he comes to work like this morning dressed up. He's got that big state championship Wimberley ring on his finger. You can always get to ask him stories about that, questions about that, and it's good for the kids to see that. But quality additions to our staff with what we had in there already, so really like what we have.
Coach, we're going to go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about last night's ball game and a little bit what's going on with the junior high program. We'll take another 2-minute break. We'll be back with more of the morning huddle from First Financial Bank right after this. 97-7. Coach, Southern Varsity got kicked off last night. You split pair of games up in the Mustang Bowl, and I bet it was warm up there.
5 o'clock start in the bowl on turf. I didn't get to go, but there's no telling how hot it was. Good start for the year for us, to talk about our sub-varsity right now, where we've always had a freshman in the JV. This year we're going to have 2 JVs, and a JV black and a JV red. Right now our black team is comprised mainly of freshmen with a few sophomores on it, and right now our JV red is juniors and sophomores, but as the year goes on, that's going to mix even more. And the reason we went to that this year is last year we got caught in a situation where we didn't get to finish the last 4 games of the year with the freshman team. And not for lack of numbers per se, but lack of this position or that position or this type of kid. And we didn't want to get ourselves caught in that again. So went ahead and mixed them in, and with the sole purpose of getting more kids more playing time. And that's the only reason we would ever do that. So started off last night, our JV black lost to Sweetwater 37-28. It was a 28-6 halftime deficit for us. And the situation is that we didn't put the ball in the end zone. Moved the ball just as well as they did, but didn't finish off drives. Got in the red zone, I think, 3 times. It stalled out or a turnover, or just didn't get it on 4th down. And didn't finish drives. Came back second half and outplayed them, outscored them, and really feel like we're off to a good foot with that crew. That group of 8th graders last year lost 2 games, I believe. One was by a very hefty margin to a good Breckenridge team, whereas that Sweetwater crew played Breckenridge toe-to-toe and ended up losing by, I think, a touchdown in the end. So I really feel like we've closed the gap. I know from Sweetwater's standpoint, that's a good group for them. Coach Mobley, the head coach's son's a quarterback, had a couple of really good running backs on there. So we feel good about how that group started.
And that group there is coached by Coach Marwitz and Coach Lemons?
Primarily on team segments in practice and through the games. Coach Marwitz calls their offense, Coach Lemons calls their defense. They've been doing that now a couple of years, work well together, do a super job, get the most out of the kids. Don't compromise what we do as a program within our system, but find wrinkles and tweaks to do what those kids do best.
And then your JV red team, or black team?
Red team
won.
Yeah, they ended up winning. I think the final score was 46-28 against Sweetwater's JV, and I wasn't there again, but not indicative of the overall game. I think it's a 46-8 lead at one point. We kind of backed off and quit trying to score as heftily with play calling, and got some kids some playing time that needed to get playing time, and we moved some kids around and did some stuff. Super start to the year. That group played hard. The good part about our JV Red this year is we got away from this a year or two to where we were when we first got here. We got a good number of juniors playing down on the JV right now. And that decision for us is important for them as an individual to grow and mature, but also important as a team to help us win. And so it's just a great thing right now. We had, I think, as many as 14 or 15 juniors playing. And they can come play on varsity or be on varsity and not play 1, 2, 4, 6 plays a game, or get down there and play reps all night long, which is way more important if you're going to play a sport. So good to see that. Nick Storm's one of those kids that stayed down and is getting a quarterback and get the reps needed if we have an injury on the varsity. Led us, and just I could go on and name kids. I think there's about 34 of them that played, and it'd take me a while, but super job getting the win on the first game.
And coaches for the JV Red team, Coach Hatton and Coach Martin.
Coach Hatton and Coach Martin, and the luxury of having Coach McNeely. We've got to add a third guy there with them. That Coach Hatton and Coach Martin primarily are back end or skill guys, and Coach McNeely's spent some time with he's our coaches are wise on offense, but spends a lot of time with the offensive line, which has that aspect to it. And then when you combine it as a night like last night with the JV Black there, you had Coach Morris and Coach Lemons, and you got them all there at once. It just makes it better. You got more eyes to help make adjustments and make plays. So super group of coaches do a good job with those guys.
And you went to scout Dublin. They played last night.
Yeah, Dublin played Heiko just like we did 6 years ago. Heiko hosts that 6-man extravaganza to start the year, so they can't host on their home week. So they moved their home game to Thursday night to Tarleton. So Coach Cav and I had an opportunity to go over there and see your district opponent, so we went over there and watched them.
And what was the outcome of that game?
Heiko pulled away a little bit there at the end and defeated Dublin, but I'm telling you, Dublin's going to be much improved, looked good, knew what was going on. Some good-looking kids out there, great fan support. They filled up the visitor side, 25 to 25 was totally full. So it was a pretty good scene for them.
And that's Coach Bevan running the program down there in Dublin.
Yes, doing a good job.
Hey, before we take our final break, let's talk a little bit about one of your former quarterbacks, Trent Britt, the quarterback last night for Incarnate Word in a loss to Central Arkansas, but his performance was pretty good from what I understand.
Yeah, you know, I've tried to get a hold of him this morning. He hadn't texted me back. I'm sure he hasn't woke up yet, but no, he was pumped. He's been named starter. You know, last year he went there and got an injury in 2 days, and then ended up redshirting the year. And another freshman played, and then Trent came and won the job this fall. I talked to his coaches at a clinic this summer, and they told me that he clearly is the better guy. Just hope that he grab the reins and do what it took to win. So they're going to, as a team, probably struggle this year moving up in divisions and not quite having the upperclassmen yet because they've added the extra scholarships and they haven't got there. And him and I visited about that. But he's truly, he's really excited about to get the opportunity to play. And from what you told me, what you saw, had a good night individually.
And for those listening, if you'd like to catch it, Trent Britt quarterbacking, he's going to be an athlete at 2 different times this year with ACU, playing at ACU, and also at McMurray later this season. We'll take our final break, come back, and we'll talk about the Sweetwater Mustangs right after this. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on KATX. KATX live from the lobby of First Financial Bank. Coach entering season number 6 at the helm of the Eastland Mavericks, and pretty successful venture so far. We take on a very talented Sweetwater Mustang team tonight. Temperature is supposed to be near 100 degrees at kickoff. Last year, I looked back in my notes, it was 97 in Sweetwater when we kicked off. The next 2 weeks were much hotter than that last year. He's going to play a role, but Sweetwater returns a bunch of starters, and a lot of people have this one picked to be a very close football game.
Yeah, from the heat aspect, that's always important at the start of the year. I talked to our kids about it yesterday. Just as much as Sweetwater's an opponent, so will be the heat. And from the aspect of we've got 24 we're shooting out tonight. We need 24 ready to go. And there's going to be times that all of them are called on. We're leading into the Sweetwater. We got 24, I think, on the roster. They have 24 seniors. So anytime you move up in the class and plan someone bigger, that's one of the first things that stands out. It's just they've got more kids to pull from. So it makes things more difficult at times. Added to the fact that Sweetwater ended up, Coach Mobley's first year had a real good first season, missed the playoffs. We're super competitive minus the Wiley game. At the end of the year, kind of after the season was settled, I don't know exact returners, but they're sitting on somewhere around 7 and 7 starters back. So, I think I saw the other day they're picked 3rd in their district behind Wiley and Monahan. So it's going to be plenty good opening game for us this year.
Last year we fell 23-13, 13 points being used points and scored all season long in the season where we averaged 36 points. Of course, having them at home will be somewhat of an advantage.
Yeah, we were lucky to get those 13 last year. That was a long, hot night. We got those 13 points on a Clay Brewer muff punt and about 90 offensive plays. I think we snapped about 87 times last year, which is upwards of a whole lot. That's more than college teams snap with a 40-second play clock. I hope it's different. We've got an experienced team. We've got in some areas, we're not all returners, but we've got experience on the line, both sides of the line. We've got experience in quarterback position, running back position, so we feel good about inside. We need some guys to develop on the outside that'll help us out and just continue to show improvement. There's going to be that time where you get tired, the time where you mess up, and we got to be able to play through those things. We saw that a little bit defensively last week. and then we got to be able to do better than that. Sweetwater can expose you. They're going to be, I don't know, we have a roster, but through scrimmage you don't know who's whom because they don't have jerseys on. I mean, numbers on the jerseys are the right numbers. So, but they're going to be in that 240 to 260 range on the O-line, foot to foot, hard to get to the quarterback, and they're going to be fast on the perimeter. And we're going to have to be able to tackle in the open field, which is worrisome any week, any time, any year, but particularly early in the season when you're not in great shape and it's hard and you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays, covered kid, turned around, ran offense, covered kid, got on defense, and now you're lined up 40 yards across the field from a 0-yard screen. You got to be able to issue cross field 45 yards and 10 yards down the field. As the weather cools and you get in shape, you can do those things a lot easier. But the start of the year, it's difficult, and so that 6-yard game that they have sometimes turns into a 60-yard touchdown. So those are things that it's going to be particularly not necessarily worrisome, but important for us tonight.
You have your skill positions. You have Josh Moreland coming back as quarterback for the second year. Who's going to be in the backfield?
I hope a whole bunch of people, and that just gets into the aspect of a lot of guys playing defense. And we're big. And Coach Gavin and I talked to our kids about this yesterday. Actually, after practice, one of the great things we've done and we feel good about from our program in the last 6 years is we don't have egos and we don't care who touches the ball, we don't care who makes the tackle or any of that. We care if we win the game. So from a running back perspective, Sammy Joyner's back. He was all-district returner last year. We're going to get him the ball, but Brent Bailey, a sophomore kid coming up from our freshman team last year, is going to play quite a bit back there. Caleb Mahoney was on the varsity last year. He really made a big step this year. Looking for a lot of good things out of him. And we got a new kid named Zach Colton. A little bit banged up. We'll see what we can get out of him, but hopefully he's going to be in the backfield as well.
And then in the receiver position, you have last year.
We don't have a whole bunch returning. We got, on the outside, we got Matt Majors that is our biggest returner, and on the inside, Mason Thayer, who's been battling a high ankle sprain for a while now, but really actually looking good this week. So planning on getting more reps out of him than we thought we would. But and the rest of those positions, I guess we got about 8 more guys that will roll in there, and everyone's going to get reps. Early in the year, we want to see them all. We want to all develop and have a chance to make plays and get better, and then develop that depth as the season moves on. So a lot of kids are going to be out there tonight and hopefully making plays.
Defensive side of the ball, or having to replace our leading tackler last year.
Yeah, Lewis is a 3-year guy. Lewis is one of those guys that, can say this with love. He wasn't big, he wasn't fast, he wasn't strong, he wasn't smart, but he always was at the right place, right time, making the right play. And that's hard. That's what you want in defense. We all want someone that's big and strong and fast and can run and hit and everything, but if they can't make the play, what does that matter? So Lewis just had a great amount of instincts and made a lot of plays for us, so he is going to be tough to replace, but we feel good with what we got. We had Bruce Vontis that took every snap or played every game, I guess I should say, at Mike last year returning. Jeremy Finley played majority of the year at Sam last year, so he's back. And we had Granville Thompson on the team about halfway through the year. He started out with JV and finished up on the varsity. Granville's a bigger kid for us. He's playing Sam this year. Jeremy's over at Wheel. Granville's about 6'2", 6'3", around 215 right now, and he's actually playing very well, along with some of those other guys that I've already mentioned.
I hope all y'all have a good
side playing. So I feel like we got good depth there. We just got to step up, make more plays.
Coach, we have just a couple seconds left here. Pretty competitive districts. Looks like most everybody has improved. Our non-district schedule is very, very talented.
Yeah, starting with the Graham and the Anson going into Sweetwater and Jacksboro. I think Jacksboro's I know they're Division 2, 2A, but they got somewhere around 24 or 5 seniors, which is basically unheard of. They lost 2 games last year, picked one district, and then turned around, got Graham U. They're more than a handful, and then Goldthwait, perennial top 10 team every year. So very good non-district schedule. It hopefully get us ready.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Thanks to Brian Hewlett for joining us this morning. Thanks to the engineer back at the studio, Michael Crash Cockburn. Thank you for your time this time. For making time on Terry Slavens. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone.